So I'll go through a little bit of the corporate overview, touch on some of the products, the applications and features of what we can do, and all the different applications that are capable within our players. And then end it with a little bit of just a quick demonstration of authoring software, excuse me, which is BrightAuthor, and a little bit about some of the networking options available as well. So in case some of you aren't really familiar with what we do, you know, the things that really separates us is the fact that BrightSign differentiates because all we do is make media players. Most of the industry out there in the digital signage market are software manufacturers who make some type of contact management or event management software, and so we'll make a nice software program for that, and this will sell you hardware. We can differ in our approach in that we make very reliable hardware, and we use the software to make your signage, and that's no charge. So really kind of approach it in a different way. What we're really known for is our reliability and our affordability. There's not going to be a media player in the world that you're going to find that has anywhere near the reliability of a BrightSign player. And the one thing that's really interesting is you would think that type of approach would cost a lot of money, and in reality, you're not going to find very many media players out in the market today that have the reliability that we have, and in addition to having the affordability options. So we really stand on a very high quality capability, and we have a very, very powerful engine that has a lot of capabilities as well. Just how we started, really, a lot might not know the name Anthony Wood, but use his invention, if you will, every day if you're recording any TV shows. Anthony actually invented the technology for the digital video recorder. So if you're recording any TV shows, you're using his invention every day. He did that back in the early 2000s. So that business off, and actually then started up a video streaming company called Roku. So many of you may have a Roku device in your home as well, and it's Anthony Wood's company. So actually our sister companies with Roku, Anthony Wood and Jeff Hastings, our CEO, are good friends. And he started Roku back in the early 2000s, and obviously for a consumer product, Jeff Hastings came in and said there's a great opportunity with that platform to move it forward as a commercial player as well. So we actually are just celebrating our 5th anniversary this year. And so Jeff branched off from Roku back in 2000, I think it was 2010, and started BrightSign. So we're privately held. We're based in Silicon Valley and Los Gatos. We have offices all over the world. Our main offices, obviously, in Silicon Valley. We've got a pretty big branch of engineers in Cambridge, UK. We've also got sales offices in Europe, actually in Paris, France, and so some engineering offices in the Ukraine as well, with our software engineers. So about 40% of our work is actually done in Europe and Asia. Obviously 60% done in North America. So a number of 500,000 units sold to date. It's actually more like 750,000 units. So we market leader. We've sold more media players than anyone in the world, and that continues to rise. This is a really busy sheet, but the one thing I like to show you is not that BrightSign leads the way in total units sold, but one of the really interesting points to us is how flooded this industry is with digital signage media players. This is everything. This is meters, this is PCs, Android devices. This is all tracked by IHS, which is a big industry technology report tracker. And the interesting point is down at the bottom on this far right. There's over a third of the industry has less than 0.2% of the total market share. So there are a ton of media player manufacturers out there, and BrightSign leads the way. but you can see how flooded it is. So when you're out in the market, you're going to get a lot of media player companies out there, whether software companies selling hardware as well, or if they're just little Android players trying to make a name for themselves in the market. There's a lot of them out there. I'm sure you guys know that. A lot of times there's these EMS companies. I mentioned make a really nice software solution, but their hardware solution is either antiquated or just not powerful enough. So the list of people that are coming to us and say, hey, we have a nice software package, but we really need a better solution for our hardware. And then the BrightSign, they integrate their software with our hardware. So companies like Tightrope, who are getting a really big name in the industry, they're based here in St. Paul, Minnesota. They're really big, and they're using Bright Media Players exclusively. So they've got a great software solution, and you BrightSign players as their hardware. Same thing with Juan, who does a great job in the quick restaurant industry. Reflect does a lot with retail. Wonder is a really inexpensive solution from a software perspective. So all these guys on this list are a software solution that have different specs, if you will, in the software part of it, but they use BrightSign now for their hardware purposes. I mentioned what we stand for and where the advantages for all you selling BrightSign players. The reliability, I can't stress any further. We have a fail rate that's less than 0.25%. So you literally could have over 5,000 media players out in the market, and one of them might fail. So a real number. It's why companies like Bose and GoPro specifically, who have literally hundreds of thousands of endpoints with their point-of-purchase displays, they have switched over exclusively using BrightSign media players because they know they deploy these displays throughout the world. They are just all going to be working. And that's the reason why companies Bose and GoPro have switched over to BrightSign. And it's the majority of the reason why people are going to use a BrightSign platform is the plays just work. They're on PC. There's no moving parts in there. It's a solid-state device. And so there's no fans in there to keep it cool, not going to overheat. It's a small device, and it's built specifically for digital signage. So the other side of it is it's very affordable. Our plays start at $200 and top out at $850. Again, it includes software. You can go on to brightsign.biz and download our authoring software, BrightAuthor, for free. So there are options for your end users to network and push content out to the players at an additional charge as well. So it's a very affordable solution. It takes a lot of energy, so the power requirements are very low. It's extremely simple to install. It's an HDMI connection and a Cat5 or Cat6 if you're networking them. And again, just very reliable, very scalable, and play all the industry standard contents out there right now. So very versatile as well. And just the products. This is a suite of the products that we have. It's very small, but they're very specific in what they're capable of doing. But we start at $200 and top out at $850. If I really lay it out in how we approach it, we go with a good, better, best strategy. Our 80 series all support 1080p. So the current TVs that are out there today, this does 1080p at 60 frames per second. It also has HTML5 capabilities. A lot of these content guys have all switched over from using Flash to using HTML as their content driver. The models also support HTML. They have Remote Snapshot, which allows you to go out and actually you would use your PC to view what is playing at any given time on any given Prime Media player. All of that is supported in the HD models. A better solution is the XD series. That's when you step up. You've got power over Ethernet, master graphics, has a faster HTML engine inside the XD versus the HD, and you actually have the processing engine in the XD series is much more powerful than the HD models in that you're able to play two 8K 60 frames per second videos simultaneously on the same screen. It's very powerful video capabilities in the HD series. And you get to our best solution, which is our new 4K players. The only 4K players in the world today that can play the 8.265 compression format at 60 frames per second and 10-bit video. Very, very powerful. Sure, you're all seeing 4K TVs coming out. They're emerging very quickly. By this holiday, probably at least 25 to 30% of all TVs will be sold will be 4K. By next year, we're seeing that 4Ks will be everywhere. 1080p will be on the outskirts. So 4K is emerging very quickly. Everyone's scrambling to try to get to this new H.265 compression format, and BrightSign is the only one that can do it today, and doing it since last October. So we're very proud of this particular player, but it's not only about 4K. These 4K players from BrightSign have extremely powerful HTML performance. So there's really nothing that these players can't do from an HTML perspective. So that's a very important part of it, and that you need to keep into consideration when you're working with users and other dealers to make sure that they're knowledgeable that these things have such a powerful HTML capability. So some of you that might have knowledge of BrightSign, there's a few things that we added to the series this year. I mentioned HTML. All of our players from HD, XD, and 4K are capable of having HTML, and as you get higher into the series, they just get more powerful as you move up. Remote snapshot, very important piece that people need to see. If selling advertisement, for example, this is a way for you to show proof of performance to anyone that you're selling advertisement to, able to prove that their advertisements were shown at any given time, and you're able to show them, send them actual proof when it was played, how often it was played. That's power over Ethernet I mentioned. That's something that people have been asking for. Obviously, it eliminates one less cable installs. H.265, I'll get into in a little bit further. And MSATA, the 4K players all have MSATA drives for those needing that extra content. Let's go through real quick about this H.265 compression standard. It's the next generation in evolution of compression technology. Back in the 90s, it was MPEG-2. Back in the early 2000s, it went to H.265. And now all of the content guys are starting to switch over to using H.265. And all it does is it essentially takes these massive 4K files that are 70, 90 megabit and press that file down to, say, the size of a 1080p file, say 15, 20 megabit, without losing any of the video quality that you get from 4K, which is a huge part of sending out all this 4K content. If they did it in a H.264, the files would be massive and the bit rates would be amazing, and it'd be impossible to get all that information out. So H.265 is the way that these 4K files are being sent out, and you don't have a media player that can retrieve and decode that H.265 format. It's a play. And again, Brent is the only player that's able to take that H.265 compression and decode and play it. So it's a very important piece of the puzzle right now, and BrightSign leads the way with that. So I mentioned a lot about the 4K player. I guess I don't need to go into too much further, but the key advantages of HTML, H.265, the MSATA capability, and the true 4K playback. And in 10-bit colors, all these new TVs from TV manufacturers, they all have this H.265 capability. They all play back at 60 frames per second, and they all have 10-bit color capabilities. And so it's important that when selling these media players, they know, the customers know that all of the TVs have this capability. There's nobody on the planet today that can have a media player that will play up to the standards of these new TVs other than BrightSign. 3 models in our 4K players start at $600 and go up to $850. Their capability with the 1142 for having TV, so it's got HDMI in, all HDCP compliant, so they can do a cable box, TV, dish TV, satellite boxes, so it's capable. And that's more important, clearly, as we move up and there's live 4K content being played. Clearly, it can play 1080p content as well. The reason you're going to be stepping up from a 242 is if you need, say, digital audio output for SPDIF or a serial connection. The 242 would not have serial or RS-232. You'd need to move up to the 1042. So really, it's just an input-output capability as you move up the ladder. I do have this slide and all the other XD and HD and LF line available. And Bill, I can get this out to the guys, but I think this is a really nice slide to be able to keep for your records when you don't know which model to choose from for your customers. This kind of put out for the 242, you're going to get all these features or all these capabilities in the 242. But if you needed USB input, the 242 does not have USB. You'd need to step them up into the 1042. So I think this gives you a good way to look at which models you need to move to in order to get the specific capabilities. The XD models, again, we also have 3 models, starting at $450, going to $650. Again, the $650 model, the 1132, HDMI in, so it has the capability of playing live TV. See down in the bottom right corner an example of how you can utilize digital signage with live TV and advertising wrapped around it. What you can do with the 1132, again, all HDCP compliant, so capable of taking live feed from cable or satellite boxes. And again, same thing, as we move up from the 232, these are the capabilities. Moving up to the 1032, you don't need to move up to get specific features. All of the models, all 3 of these models have the same capabilities and performance in terms of HTML, PE, all of the same capabilities. You just move up because of the inputs or outputs. C models, we only have 2 models in the HD capability, start 350 and 500. There's no live TV capabilities for the HD models. You're specifically going to move up if you need, say, serial or USB or that type of connection. But again, the HD models have the capability of doing HTML and a single 1080p video coding. And a step-up slide as well. To the LS, this is really our answer to the all the Android devices that are out in the market today. We brought this in. It's a very small, compact footprint. Instead of having a metal box that the HD, XD, and 4K models are, we've made a plastic box. We've taken all the costs out of the media players, keep reliability standards that we keep for all other models, but we've taken as many costs out of these as we can to get an affordable solution for these customers that are only going to use it for basic video and image playback. So the LS422 can do 1080p video at 30 frames per second versus 60. It's got capabilities with GPIO for interactivity. It's got a USB input. Also has SPDIF digital video. So there's capabilities for these in a very small and compact manner, and $250 price point. These competes with some of these crappy Android devices that are out there. The LS322 is an audio-only piece. We're in the process of putting together a package within the next 30 to 60 days with SiriusXM, which we're really excited about. The opportunity for you guys to go in and sell not only the media player, but the SiriusXM audio services that they offer from a commercial basis. So more on that, but the LS322 is something that we'll be offering with SiriusXM as well. Just examples, these are some of the reasons, most of the LS series is used in the retail market for some of these DOP displays. Very reliable, the video quality is awesome, and they're capable of a lot of things with the activity. We do offer some accessories. In addition to being able to do touch screens through USB, we also offer these the USB button panels. So you can literally program whatever you want these buttons to do. Specifically, Bose uses these on their POP displays for volume up and down and skip to the next track, pause, that type of thing. So these button panels are very inexpensive, $35, but they're much more reliable than some of the other things that people are using today for activity. There's capability for Wi-Fi in players. The module on the right is a $50 module. It literally allows you're going to pop the hood off of the BrightSign player and pop it in and pop the hood back on. It's compatible with the XD and 4K models. Clearly, we would prefer that you try to do a wired connection when doing networking, but obviously that's sometimes not available. You're as good as the Wi-Fi connection, so we would prefer wired, but if you need that application, we have it available. SD cards, while it may be trivial, it's actually a very important part for BrightSign. Because I mentioned earlier, we don't have any hard drives in our players. All the content resides on an SD card. And there are a lot of really bad SD cards out in the market. We have a contract with Lexar. Our SD that we sell are very inexpensive. We make very little money off of them. So we offer them to you and your customers so that you are guaranteed you're going to get a good quality SD card. There's a lot of cards out there that did not pass production standards and got thrown to a bin and sold at $1. You can buy SD cards for $4 today versus the $10, $11 that we sell them for. Just you're rolling the dice with some of these other SD cards. So make sure that you're selling a BrightSign SD card with your sales. You're going to be guaranteed performance standards. So if I get into some of the features, I'm not going to go through all of these. I think I touched on many of them, but some of them I think are important. I mentioned live TV. This is a really important piece that a lot of people want to do and don't know how to do it. BrightSign and BrightAuthor make it very simple. You're simply building a zone that allows live TV, and then just building zones. This is a live, say, text feed, or you can have a Twitch feed down here. However you want it to look, you can create that in BrightAuthor. But it's a very important piece of the puzzle, and BrightSign makes it very simple. Streaming, same thing. The capability of taking an IP stream and streaming it to the BrightSign players. So very important to understand that there's multicast capabilities with these players, and BrightSign makes it very simple to do. Here, what else do we got? The remote snapshot, I mentioned what it is, but again, this is a great way for you to see what's playing on any given player at any given location, anywhere. And it gives you the time stamp, the date, that particular screen play. So again, when you're seeing advertisement, your information, Mr. Customer, played this many times, these dates, however you want it. And I think remote snap is a nice feature that we just added to the players. And preview, some of you guys that may not use BrightAuthor for a while, there used to be you weren't able to see what you were creating in BrightAuthor until after you published it. Now there's a little button up or a click that you can see what you're building before you have to publish it. So just who's not interested from that. BrightWall is something that we just created for video wall capabilities. Very easy way for your customers to build video walls. You literally go in and say, I've got a 2x2 video wall. It automatically creates a 2x2. You take your video, drag it into the location, and it automatically will clock synchronize each of the BrightSign players so that they play flawlessly. So BrightWall is a really easy way for your customers to make video walls. So, this is, I'll get through real quick how BrightAuthor, how we build a few zones in BrightAuthor. But again, you can make the scene however you want it to look through building zones within BrightAuthor. We have the capability of making all types of remote control and interactive capabilities over Ethernet or wirelessly. Leads, we can take whatever content you want and make changes to them on the fly using iOS devices. You can make changes to RSS feeds. You can take third-party, say, airport flight schedules and connect them all through feed capability. We have a BrightSign app, again, allows you to take and customize how you want the screen to look. In this case, here's a price tag. You can go in at any given time with our BrightSign app and change the pricing or the content information all through the BrightSign app. I think that's about it there. I think I've gone through that. I think what we'll do now is just kind of get through capability for networking, just so you know the capabilities and what we can do from a networking standpoint. And then I'll go through real quick on BrightAuthor, show you an example. So I mentioned there's options to publish to the BrightSign players in networking at additional charge. Obviously, local SD publishing would be manually taking one SD card out, plugging a new one in. And you have all media players on the same LAN. You're able to just put the new content out, and all the players that are connected to the network would be able to receive that new content. File networking is a really interesting option for customers that may have 20 players out in the field, and they want to push content out to them. Simple networking allows you to create a web server like a Dropbox file and create new content in that web server. The players are set up to go out and find that web server and download new content whenever it's available or whenever the players are told to download it. So that's capable of doing at no additional charge. There's actually two networking options that end users can use that be absolutely free of charge. If they have more than around 20 players, I highly recommend that you push them to a cloud-based service, which is BrightSign Network. Our BrightSign Network runs off of the Amazon servers, which is the most reliable server in the world. I think they're triple redundant, so there really is never a situation where the servers go down. But it gives your customers the ability to group players, set up individual user admin rights, so somebody can actually go in and only make changes to a certain zone on a certain screen. So there's a lot of different versatile options to designate within BrightSign Network. The good thing about BrightSign Network, and really how it differentiates from a lot of these software companies out there, is BrightSign Network is only $99 per player per year. So it's an affordable solution for those people who want to use BrightSign, don't want to invest in a very costly management solution. BrightSign Network and BrightAuthor would put your customers with that capability. So we've got a lot of customers that are using BrightSign Network and have literally hundreds and sometimes thousands of endpoints that are managing through BrightSign Network. So not just for small network capabilities, customers that are using these for multiple endpoints throughout the country and world, if that for better. They also have an enterprise edition for BrightSign Network for those customers that don't or would prefer to have their content reside on their servers themselves. That's $15,000 list price startup, and that's $7,500 a year, which is actually about a third of what enterprise solutions typically cost. So still another affordable solution from an enterprise standpoint. So I'm just going to get into just a quick example of how we would create BrightAuthor. I'm creating a zoned presentation within BrightAuthor, how to publish it. So I've opened up BrightAuthor here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to tools and set up our BrightSign net unit. We can name it, describe where it's at if we want. If I have Wi-Fi, I enable that. In case if I have a wired connection, I can go in and I've got a wired connection. I can either obtain a IP address automatically or enter in all the IP content information there. So all of that can be done at the setup. I always like to make sure that the enabled diagnostic web server is checked. That allows you to go in and see what's happening at any given time. So make sure that is always checked. In case we have a standalone piece, if we were enabling it on BrightSign Network, we would click this and make that it goes into groups or such. In this case, we're just doing a standalone. And all the logging, playback logging, event logging can be done, and maybe seeing that. Hitting remote snapshot is always a good option as well, so that you can see what's at any given time. So once we create the setup files, we've got the screen on ours. We're going to essentially go in and create a new layout. If I go into the layout tab here, I can either do a full screen of a bunch of videos or images, just scrolling through one after the other, or in case we're going to actually go in and change. We're going to make a bunch of different layouts. So I'll go into a new presentation. I can call whatever I want. I go and I say what plane I have. In this case, I've got an XD1132. I'm connecting it via HDMI. The T that I'm using is a 1080p with 60 frames per second, and I'm doing landscape, editing it over a full screen. So it brings me to a group of templates. So in this, I've got a full screen, but I've got a lot of options in terms of being able to choose, say, a 5-zone template. That's what I want, or a 3-zone. There's templates that are already chosen. If I make my own template, I can save it and choose it in this drop-down. It lists to here. So there's a lot of versatility in terms of either choosing one, build your own, and saving it, choosing it at some point in the future. In this, I'm just going to do a full screen, and I'm going to go to load again. In this case, I want to build we're going to do 5 zones. So I'm going to click on here on Add a Zone, and I'm going to be a 4-image zone. Here I'm going to a video zone here, make it about this size here. So I can choose however I want that to be. So if I go in and to add another zone here, I'm going to go into images, a couple image zones playing up here. Another zone, and this one's going to be video, so I'm going to do video and images. Oops. And down here, whoops, I'm sorry. I'm going to make a Twitter feed. I'll go down to this size down here. That's it. So now I've got all 5 of my zones And go back into the Edit tab. I'm going to where my content is going to come from, and choose my images. So now I've got all my images. So in this main zone, I'm just going to have a bunch of images looping. So I'm going to choose whatever images I want and drag them into the area. I can move them around. If I'd want this over here, I can move it anywhere I want. If I want to delete one, highlight it and delete it. So I've got in zone 2 here, I'm going to have all of these images looping one the other. I can double click. In this case, they're going to play for 6 seconds each. I can change that. I can change the duration. I can change the effect in terms of wiping or exploding or whatever effect I want them to be. So that's how that zone is going to work for me. In this case, in zone C, I've got images again. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my images here and play you other images. Same thing. I make that whatever I wanted. If I wanted it to be a clock, I do that. Tweet, I can go in and actually, if I wanted it to be a Twitter feed, I can go in and add my data feed. Let's see what's the file name. I'm just going to say ESPN. My URL for it. I'd have to put in the URL for it. And it's okay. I want to see what that's going to look like. I come up here to preview app. Here's all my images. They're going to be scrolling in and out. This could be wherever I wanted it to be. Obviously, I don't have the URL feed down here, but that would be scrolling through as well. So there's my 5 zones, and I can set them up however I want. If I wanted videos playing or clocks or weather widgets or whatever you wanted it to be. So that's what my screen is going to look like. I can go back and make changes if I want. If I like what I see, I can go to publish. So now, if I go to publish, I'm saving it and save. Now it's going to play all day, every day. And I can go in and choose whenever I want it to play by clicking on the day. In this case, if I don't want it to play all day, every day, and I want it to start at 5 a.m. and go to new, I just literally type on it to play, what day I want it to play and such. So that's how you would schedule all different types of content at any given time during the week. And we just go to publish. I guess I can't write anything in my F drive, but you your SD card in computer and publish it to your SD card, and away you go. So it's really that simple within BrightAuthor, and you're able to really create and be versatile in terms of what it to do. I was very, very short with this, so I apologize. But there's a lot of versatility that we didn't really even get into in terms of interactivity. If I click on interactive here, I've got a lot of different options in terms of being able to do touch buttons and all kinds of different capabilities. So, I went through that very quickly. There's great tutorials on our website for those that would like to get a little bit more knowledge on the ins and outs of BrightAuthor. And I would highly advise you, if you're going to be, or any of your dealers going to be selling BrightAuthor and BrightSign, that you have an understanding of how to use BrightAuthor and be done. And those tutorials are on our website. So, Bill, I think that's essentially what I wanted to get through today. And I know we also wanted to talk a little bit about the dealer package that we have available for the guys to use as reference as well. So maybe I hand it over to you, Bill, and we can talk through that as well.
Well, thanks, Eric, for going through it. There's certainly a lot of information, and we wanted to make sure that we gave everybody a quick drive of BrightAuthor, because the hardware is one side of the sale, but kind of understanding what the software looks like and how you interface with it. I think it was important to at least get everybody a small demonstration of what it takes to put these together. And as you can see, the Bright Author software, not only is BrightSign created the best hardware in the industry, but they have the software to match. So with that, I'm going to take the presenter role for a second. I want to review with you guys something that I am going to send everybody after this training is over. See this email by the end of the day. Also, I'm going to work with Erik to get the presentation that he just used, so we can get that to you for further reference. So I have all your email addresses based on you signing up for or registering for the webinar today. For those of you that are just call-in users, I won't have your email address there, so if you can just shoot me a quick email to remind me who you are, I will make sure that you guys get that presentation material as well. I was also to get this presentation posted up to my YouTube channel and then forwarded on to you as well. So if there's other people in your organization that you would like to sit through this presentation, you'll have a way to reference back to it. So I'm going to, hold on a second here. To share my screen here. No one can see my screen at the moment, I'm assuming.
No.
Where is it? Screen. Here we go. Okay. Everybody, my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so with BrightSign and with Erik, we had put together basically a quick reference guide to help you find the information about BrightSign all in one spot. So essentially what we created is a simple two-page PDF that gives you some quick links to the website and easily grab the information that you're looking for. So this will be part of the package that we send out to everybody, and I will also include a spreadsheet with the BrightSign players. But I wanted to go through this as well. So the BrightSign Dealer Package PDF that you'll receive has a couple links here which are alive on the PDF that have the BrightSign product lines, which the complete feature listing and a model comparison listing. So if you click these links here, it's going to take you directly to the BrightSign webpage, and you'll be able to go through and understand some of the features here that we were talking about, and you can drill down and get some more detail on each one of them. Same thing, model comparison listings. This will jump through the website, and you'll be able to compare all models of BrightSign players to ensure that you're choosing the one that's appropriate for the project. We really need to centralize all the tools that we have with BrightSign to really give you a very quick access to find the information that you need. Moving down the document here, we've got the BrightSign series of products, the LS, the HD, and the XD series, and the 4K product. So we talked a little bit about what the differences were in those products, but with the links that we just shared with you above, and with the presentation that you'll get, you'll be able to easily identify which player is appropriate for the project that you're working on. Modules. There's a lot of modules that are available on the BrightSign store, BrightSign website, and we have the step-by-step training videos. If I click this, you'll see there's a huge amount of training videos that are available. That regardless of what feature you're trying to implement or which player you're working with, or understanding about BrightSign or BrightSign Network, there are videos here that you can easily access to do training prior to the installation, or if you just happen to get out to the job site and you need a quick refresher, these are bite-sized videos. Webinars, and also, again, tutorial videos, which, again, kind of walks you through the BrightSign network setup, additional authoring tools, BrightSign app, and essential things that you need here to make sure that you're successful with the installation of the product. I encourage you, though, that if you are interested in doing a digital signage or adding digital signage to your portfolio of services, that you purchase a BrightSign player. It's not a significant investment, but you work with one and kind of understand BrightAuthor and what its capabilities are prior to getting out to the job site.
Bill, if I can just add to that, we do offer a 50% off demo discount for any of the demo units that you want to purchase. So just go through all that, and they'll be able to set you up with a half off the list price.
Great offer, Eric. Thank you.
Yep.
The support for BrightSign is a little bit different than what you may work with in the typical custom electronics lines. The support is there's free support, and it's unlimited email support. I have to encourage that whenever you have email support, there's going to be there could be a small delay in getting response to the information that you're looking for. So it's very important that you understand the product before you get out to the job site to make sure that you have good success. But great email support with BrightSign, and it's a ticket-based system. So if you go to support if you click on this link, you'll be able to create a support ticket and get the information that you're looking for.
Another thing, just to add to that too, Bill, when you're doing that, I know it's not ideal. Everyone wants to have that phone number. You can simply keep my number handy. But most of the time, if you give at least a detailed description of what you're experiencing, you'll probably get an answer within an hour. We've got round-the-clock engineers on our tech support line. Because we're worldwide, we've got guys in the UK and Ukraine. So for the most part, if you give a detailed understanding of what you're experiencing, what the problem is, you're going to get much better opportunity to get an answer fairly quickly.
Okay, great. Eric, do you want to give this access to numerous developer resources? Can you go through that?
Those are a lot of the plugins. There's a lot of guys that there's a lot of it's probably not going to come up a lot with you guys, but we have an open platform. So there's a lot of companies that may want to look at integrating whatever their software or platform that they have. We're open to. You can open any of our plugins, applications, and look at the API of a BrightSign player. So we're completely open, and that's what those are for. It's probably going to come up often, but hey, we're open to discussing any integration opportunities.
Okay. And then we do offer priority support. So if you are in a situation where you require a phone call with an engineer, we have 2 priority support packages. For $100, you can receive a call back within the next business day, and for a priority call back within a call within the next 4 business hours of $400. So in order to access that, you can visit this link here and get that priority support that you're looking for. So my recommendation is if this is your first BrightSign project that you're doing, maybe go ahead and budget for a priority service, priority support call, just to make sure that you're covered and this doesn't come up as a surprise. So that way, it's very, we dealers that are very successful with BrightSign, and with anything there's a learning curve. So getting through your first installation is usually the hardest. If you make the purchase of a demo piece up front and you work with it in your showroom, and you can understand what your needs are for additional information, you can very easily work with the email tech support to get all your questions answered. However, if you're in a job site and don't have experience with the product up front, you might want to just budget for a priority callback in case you need it for that project. And if you don't, you're money ahead.
Dealers will actually include this in their proposal. Is just add 4, 6 callbacks at $100 each. Just add $500-600 to the overall cost of the project, so that they're in there if the customer ever calls and needs assistance immediately. It's put into your budget, and you've got that already set up or paid for. The other thing that I want to add to is always know that I'm available to help with any type of WebEx in front of the end users. If you have a project with an end user and you want to have some type of BrightSign representation, I'm based here in Minneapolis, but I always, and I do this quite a bit, where you've got a project, you need some help from BrightSign in terms of presenting the overall project or the capabilities of what BrightSign can deliver. I was available to jump on a WebEx for a half hour, an hour, whatever it takes to be with the customer. And that seems to be fairly effective. Customers like that, and I'm available to do that.
Thank you. Erik, do you have anything else that you want to cover?
Yeah, that was about it. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to go in and get acclimated and if trained on BrightSign and more importantly BrightAuthor. If you know the general basics of how to do these presentations, you're much further ahead than a lot of these guys that are out here. I can't tell you how many times I get dealers selling a BrightSign project having no idea what to do when the project comes to install. And then they come call us trying to find out, what do I do? And they look like idiots in front of their customers. So I would highly recommend that you get acclimated to BrightAuthor and BrightSign. I'm here to help you along the way, so don't think that you're an island. We want to help you. We know we've got a great platform for you guys to sell to your customers, and there's a reason why BrightSign is the #1 leading media player company in the world. We make products for you guys. So hopefully you've gotten out of it today to at least hit the ground running. But again, get onto our website, go into the train tab, and it takes some time to really get an understanding of what you're like before you get out there. But here to help along the way.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat window here. We'll open up the session for any questions that you have, and then we'll conclude it. Okay. Any questions come through? So, Erik, I want to thank you for your time today. I appreciate it, and we will get this information back out to everybody. Oh, I guess we do have a question.
There's one from Rick, it looks like.
Yeah.
A good question, Rick.